Hello and welcome to another We Interview video here on Gamingtrend.com. My name is Adam Marino. Today we have a chance to talk to Lindsay Barnett, CEO of Playground Productions, coming back after a long hiatus with some familiar faces and a lot of nostalgia. Welcome!
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Okay, let's start. I guess the first question and probably the one you get the most is why? Why did you choose to purchase the franchise and bring it back to modern day? And what were you doing maybe prior to this?
Yeah, well, first of all, this was my favorite brand, favorite computer games growing up. So I started playing backyard baseball when I was 5 years old. I was a really sporty little girl in the Chicago area, growing up around the Bulls, like, energy and just loving sports. And the backyard sports franchise provided a accessible, easy to play game through baseball, and then soccer and football and basketball and all these other sports. And I loved it and I couldn't get enough. So that's why I love it. And then fast forward, I wound up studying film and television and animation. And then I got my master's degree in education. And I was really wanting to do children's content. And I thought I would go and work at a Sesame Street right after graduating. And I loved student teaching so much that I spent 8 years in the classroom teaching second grade. And
Bless your heart.
thank you. Well, I
I was
really
a
loved it.
substitute teacher, so
Oh,
I've been through all
amazing.
the grades, yeah.
But it's funny because, people try to ask about kind of how it all relates, but you look at the characters in this franchise and they're all around the same age of the students that I taught. And it was during COVID that I really felt like, where's all the great content that I could recommend to them to be
Yeah.
playing at home, especially a sports game that was easy for the little kids to play, a game that wasn't violent, that wasn't inappropriate, that they weren't going to stumble on anything they weren't supposed to. And that was really why I started looking for the rights.
That's so awesome. I know that there was like a period of time, I think it was during COVID, where you had like multiple like big time podcasts talking about where is this game? Why is this game not coming out? And here you are, like having that idea way before those people were even
Yeah, it was so funny because obviously my close friends and other teachers that I had worked with knew what I was doing. And certainly during COVID when I'm remote teaching, I have lots of time to be able to hire a private investigator to track the rights down for this brand and wait around and see what happens. And you know that was 6 months prior. And then I spent a long time with the prior owners to figure out kind of what the plan was and
yeah.
why I was the right person to shepherd this brand. And right as I was about to close on the deal, the podcast started talking about it. It worked out. It worked out fine.
Hey, it all worked out and it's coming out. Well, speaking
Yes.
of that, when talking about bringing back characters, you'd be remiss not to discuss people like Pablo Sanchez, Stephanie Morgan, Pete Wheeler, but you do have 28 of the 31 returning.
Yeah.
Is there who's not coming back?
Well, first of all, with all of this 2001, it's really like an incredible feat from both our engineering team and just the playground team in general, because it's not as simple as it was when players are currently playing and there's one union and you
Hmm.
can just go and get in touch with one person to kind of talk through all the players. This was there's a retired players union which had about 11, and then every single other player we had to individually reach out to.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so it was, in many ways it was just some of them were harder to find than others. Some of them don't live in the US or have managers or agents anymore.
So
Some
we're
don't.
talking about those three being real life players, not
Yeah,
characters that were created for this franchise. So all of the ones
exactly.
for this franchise are returning.
all
It's
of
just some
all
of
of
the
our
nice,
fictional characters are back. So we have 30
wonderful.
main players, all 30 of our players, Pablo, Keisha, Stephanie, Pete, all of our players are coming back. Then in the 2001 version, they had 31 professional players
Very nice.
added to it. So there were 61 players on the bench.
Hmm.
And those we had to individually get. Luckily, I guess I'm Pablo's manager now. So Pablo's back and he's excited and he'll always be there.
I'm so excited by that. You know, gameplay looks like it's the way we remember in our childhood, but for you, what are the highlights of this brand new release that we're about to see?
Yeah, well, it's there's a couple of things that I'm really excited about. And I think when you have a short period of time, obviously from 1997 to 2001, when I was a kid, that felt like a long time. But
Yeah.
now we're releasing these within a very short period of time of months between each other. And so you really start to realize some of the quality of life changes between these two versions. And I mean, one, just being able to play on all sorts of different fields during the league mode is so fun. I personally, I forgot about this until I got the brand back, but I forgot about the custom player thing, and I immediately did exactly what I did when I was a little kid playing, and I made myself a character.
Yeah, got to.
Immediately made myself a character, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm in this game now. I love it. And I, of course, gave myself like perfect hitting and
Perfect stats.
yeah, perfect stats. And those are the things that just like I love. And then there's a lot more power-ups in this, which I love about it. Turning double plays gets you a power up. And yeah, so there's some fun things for sure.
That's so exciting. And the fact that you have these coming back to back and you're releasing them very straightforward, it seems like a lot of fun. But on top of that, we're going to be able to play these games on platforms that we've never been able to play them before. You had them on the PC and then there were some releases on various consoles, but we're getting a wide release of these, correct?
Yeah, so again, that was something that the reason why I like one of the reasons why I love like bringing this back and being really open with the fans is like I am a fan, and the difference of like Playground versus maybe other video game companies is we can really interact and have open conversations about what's going on and what our struggles are. And so we said really early on, we do not have the source code for these old school games. Like we're bringing them back through reverse engineering and
Yeah.
CD-ROM hacking. And at first, I thought they were only going to be able to come back to PC because that was the original platform. Then the Mega Cat team said they could get it on mobile. And I was like, amazing, let's get it on mobile. That's awesome. Through the mobile reverse engineering and hacking, we discovered new technology to make it playable on PlayStation and on Switch. So exactly.
I'm a
uh,
big Switch person, so I'm always
Exactly. So I said to fans early on, like, I want this to be in as many places as possible. We're gonna try to do it and we'll see what we can do. But good news is we're building a brand new game from the ground up that will be everywhere. But in the meantime, these retro games, I'm gonna try to get them on as many modern devices as possible.
That's so fabulous. Well, that also leads me to my next question. This is working out perfectly.
Oh, good.
Might be another question you've been asked a lot already, but I have to ask it. My favorite backyard sports game was backyard football. It was how I was introduced to football, playing with Dan Marino. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I always had to draft him before my dad could, kind of vibe, all that kind of stuff. And what are the chances of the other backyard sports, such as football and soccer and everything else, coming back as well?
Great question. Okay, so for the retros, we have Backyard Baseball 97. That one's already out. Steam for PC, mobile devices, Switch, PlayStation. Then soccer is out right now. Soccer 98 is
Oh,
out
cool.
on Steam. We're bringing it to mobile. And then we have Baseball 01 it happens to be coming back next. And then we've got Football 99 is coming back with a bunch of the players, which I'm very excited about.
Yay!
And then we have Basketball 01 and Hockey 02. So it's This is a big year for backyard, and all of that will be back by the end of the year.
That's a
Crazy.
crazy statement to make. The fact that all of this has been gone for what, we're talking 20 plus years at this point.
It's been
22
28
was the
years since
last.
the first
Yeah.
game.
So it's like, but having all of this come to fruition and being so fast, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of fans out there like myself who, we got to have that nostalgia. But on top of that, something that I thought about was there's going to be a whole new audience to this that are seeing it from their parents' perspective
Yeah.
that played it when they were kids. And there's not going to be as much of that, like, if you show your kid something from the N64 era or from the PlayStation 1 era, they're looking at you, they're like, but if you show a kid, this, it all looks so good. And you're playing it on the Switch, you're playing it on the PlayStation 5, you're playing it in these new formats, they're going to look at this and go, oh, yeah, cool. Okay.
I've got to say, there's two things that I think have just been like, or maybe even three. The parents obviously like giving this to their kids and being like, this is a great game, you can play it. I'm so grateful for that. The two things that I wasn't expecting to happen was the streamers. The streaming
Yeah.
community has been so awesome and integral to getting kids into this because basically they're adults playing and having so much joy and they're making it fun and funny. And I think that's what makes Backyard different than any other game is it's so comedy forward
Yeah.
that having an adult play and like essentially coach a team of little kids who are making errors all the time is just so funny. And so we've got all of these kids who are tuning into places like Dude Perfect Gaming or Squid Legs or Chiz Plays. Like they're watching all these guys play and it is so fun. And then the third is the athletes, the professional athletes and celebrities. Obviously, before we knew that the Kelseys were big fans of the game, but throughout this process, so many other pro athletes have
Mhm.
come out and kids look up to them and to say like, oh, Jason and Travis love Pablo. That's really cool. I got to check out who this Pablo kid is. Like
Yeah.
that's me, I think is really special because it is ultimately getting more kids to learn about sports and become sports fans.
That's so exciting. And I love, we talked about it right before we started our interview, but the shirt looks fantastic. Backyard baseball back again. So our last question actually is one that we ask everyone, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I want to give you a chance to really shine with it. A question that we always end on is what is one happy memory in your time working with your project that will stay with you as a happy memory for the rest of time?
Oh my gosh. I feel like part of what is so exciting about this and like I feel like it matches my vibe, but there's a character in this called Sunny Day and like that's what I feel every single day by working on this. I feel like we just like have a sunny day because it really is just such a wonderful fun thing to work on. But I think for me, though I'll never forget the actual like launch of the game. Like knowing the night before, tomorrow we're going to drop something and who knows what's going to happen, but we're doing a surprise announcement that Backyard Sports, they are coming back. And it was just like a very frenetic energy and our team is like so visceral in how we react to things and we're like giggling and like laughing and be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
who reposted that or who's messaging us? Oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And I'm like, I just hope to get more of those kinds of moments. And we kind of get them each time we drop.
That's so fun. So everybody, you can play Backyard Baseball 98.
Yeah, Backyard Baseball 97
There you
uh,
go.
is out on Steam. It's out on Switch, PlayStation, and mobile. Backyard Soccer 98 is out on Steam. And then next week on July 8th, Backyard Baseball 2001 is coming back with the MLB and 28 of the 31 original players, including guys like Jeter and A-Rod and Sam
Wow.
Sosa. It's crazy era of baseball to
Yeah.
be bringing back, and that's going to come out on mobile devices and Switch next week.
That's so exciting. And we
So
have
exciting.
confirmation right here. Everything else is going to be out by the end of the year. So
Everything else
that's
out by the end of the year.
absolutely, best of luck with everything you have going on. This is so much fun and excitement about these games being re-released to not only the nostalgic audience, but to all of these children. And especially, I'm really hoping that your old class of kids got to, demo the game and all that kind of
It's
stuff.
so okay. Just as you leave that out, it's really hard when you like leave teaching and
Yeah.
yeah, I like want all my students to know where I am, and you're not able to like email and call every single,
Yeah.
that's not allowed. But I had my first student message and say, that's my second grade teacher. And it like warmed
Yeah.
my heart. And so I hope that the kids know that I'm thinking about them and doing this for them. So
That's so amazing. That warms my heart as well that you guys care so much, not only about the game, but the audience that you're sending this
yeah,
out to. We just want to thank you so much for your time. Good luck on all of the launches. You have so many, but thank you so much for your time.
thank you.